Welcome to Ask the Accountant, the podcast that is made for you. Weekly podcast live Mondays from 8:30 a.m., released on the podcast service of your choice on Wednesdays. Your main weekly hosts, Aaron Patrick and Johann. Got something to ask? Submit your questions below or ask during the show. Podcast loading. We are currently getting everything set up behind the scenes, so sit back, relax, and we will be with you in a few seconds. Enjoy.
Hello and a very warm welcome to the Digital Accountancy Show 2023, and this place is absolutely buzzing. We are live here at the show itself. You can see a big queue around this, and you can see everybody along, and the weather is glorious, and we've got one of the coolest guests that we can think of for our cool friends. We have Mr. DJ himself. So to start off, would you want to give a bit of introduction who you are, why people should be excited about your DJ set? Let's go for it.
Yeah, happy to. Thanks for having me, guys. So my name is Jordan Vickery. I'm the head of content here at Digital Accountancy Show. I'm also the co-founder of an agency called Troy, where we specialise in working with accounting firms and accounting software companies on their growth strategies. That's my background. I've been working with accountants now for 10 years. Numerous growth and marketing roles. And then on the side, I'm 1/3 of the DJ Supergroup, more formally known as the Accounting House Mafia. You'll find us on the main stage tonight from 8 p.m. onwards.
Now, if that doesn't give you FOMO, I don't know what will, because for me, that could be the highlight of the whole show. Speaking of the show, Digital Accounting Show, this is the 3rd year, and that seems crazy to say, right? Like, where it's come to where it is now. But can you give us a bit of a background or a story about how it's got to this stage? Because for me, this is one of those big success stories of accounting.
It's an incredible success story, and you should chat to Dan about this because it's his vision. It's his vision that's come to life. He founded this event initially before COVID, and the very first show that was going to run at the Spurs ground, it never happened because COVID struck. And as a startup event, it's a huge blow, right? You put all that time and money and effort to try and set an event up, and then it doesn't happen. So Dan very quickly pivoted to doing online events. Did that really successfully, a number of online summits, webinars, and eventually got to run the first DAS at the Spurs ground. I think it was just 2 years ago now. And ever since that first one, it's just grown, and we've sold out the Spurs ground for the past 2 years in a row, which meant that this year we had to move to a bigger venue here at Battersea. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I've been downstairs and it feels like we're outgrowing this one already. Like, it's so busy.
Yeah, it definitely, there's a huge buzz here. And so I didn't go to last year's DAS show because I was on holiday. But I went to the first one, and I couldn't tell whether today was going to be buzzing again like that, or if we were. What I experienced 2 years ago was the first post-COVID conference. That's why it was buzzing. But actually, I think Digital Accountancy Show's really just found this whole unique position because you've got loads of new startups behind us that have got the opportunity to come and pitch their offerings to this huge crowd that they don't they can go to a contest, but it's so big, they're almost overwhelmed by it. Whereas here we've got a little section for them, they can spend good time getting quality conversations with the potential users to explain what their problem is they think they're solving and make sure the feedback is agreeing with them. But yeah, no, the buzz here is absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, I mean, the weather's helping, I think.
Definitely, the weather's helping, and it's a good job we've got air conditioning inside, right? Because I was here yesterday and it was hot in there when we were setting up. But today we've got the aircon going, the lasers on, the smoke machines are firing. Like, it feels like a nightclub.
Like, that is exactly what we said. When we came in downstairs early this morning, it was like, wow. Like, it's dark, the light strips everywhere, LEDs, lasers. It just has an atmosphere that other conferences perhaps are too clinical in their atmosphere. They're too commercial almost, of their metal stands with this is the booze, etc. Some of the bigger players try and make it a bit more exciting with by playing music out of speakers on their stage and stuff. But the atmosphere down there is just incredible.
Yeah, it's electric and it feels like you're at a festival. It doesn't feel like you're at an accounting conference. And I think that's the vision that had from the very beginning, is to differentiate that from the rest of the events out there. There's some great events in the accounting space, don't get me wrong. is to just create something that looks and feels completely different, and really taking that kind of digital part of our DNA and embracing it through the production of the show as well.
And I think for what I like about this, and the thing that really got me is there's almost like a visual element to it, and there's that idea where we're not coming to see no vendors taking over the show. This is, we're turning up to see digital accountancy. And you've even got it down to now, we're looking here, the camera can't see, but you've even thought about the experience when the user, or when the attendees turns up, right? They're going to walk through, they're going to be wow, they're going to be looking at whose idea was that? Who kind of these sort of like
it's honestly, it's mostly Dan. He has these incredible visions, and for the past year, he's been sharing them with the team, and we all listen. We're like, I don't know about that, mate. Like, that sounds a bit bold. And like, to give him credit where credit's due, like, I came here yesterday and walked in, it was just like, wow, like just seeing everything fall into place so perfectly. Every minute detail, the lighting, the setup, it's just, it's incredible. Like, if you're not here, you're missing out big time.
We knew something special was coming because we saw it down on LinkedIn post yesterday. Any vendors that are coming to set up today, do not take photos, do not send images on social media. We want this to be a complete surprise. And they did it, and they all followed the rules. And just that one post, we said when we saw that, like, this could be something special. Like, what they got behind those curtains for us to walk into, and we weren't disappointed at all. But it's phenomenal. But the main reason we wanted to chat to you today was pre-COVID, I started to see more accounting and bookkeeping firms start hosting events. And I think some of it was spurred on by the likes of QuickBooks and Xero, who were basically paying or reimbursing firms to run MTD VAT events. So, like Xero would say, go and run an event, we'll give you a £350 budget, send us your invoices for payment, so room hire, food, etc. I did a couple of events, and the amount of new clients I got from them was phenomenal. And it wasn't just on that day, it was for the next year. We came along to an event, we'd now be interested to sign up. So I think events have a huge opportunity for accountants and bookkeepers. Now we're out of COVID and people are back to networking to grow their firms again. But I think a lot of them are sat there going, well, actually, I've got a lot of time and effort. What really is the benefit? And how do I do it? So I know you're working with some firms to host events. So why are those firms, why do they see the value in hosting events? What's their angle?
I think there's a couple of reasons. So the first is, if you think about marketing in general, right? Every online channel is so noisy right now, and that's just been accelerated in a whole new way by ChatGPT and AI. Right? Anybody can become an expert on social media. You go to ChatGPT, you ask it to write a blog post or a post about cloud accounting or something, you share it. Everybody's doing that, right? That's almost like table stakes right now. Because of that, people are tuning out to online channels, right? Attention spans are shorter. People are only tuning into something super relevant, super focused on what they need. And I think events are a refreshing opportunity to deliver content in a slightly different perspective, because people are just tuning out to scrolling on social media, but they're tuning into human to human interactions. And I think getting people in a room, or even just doing a webinar as a starting point, is a great way to facilitate content outside of social media. So I think that's one thing. And I think the second thing is that when you're building relationships with prospective clients online that don't come from word of mouth referrals where it's typically a lot warmer, you have to establish an element of trust and credibility. And you can't do that immediately. Well, you can do that very quickly when you get in a face-to-face setting. So if you spend an hour or two with somebody at an event, you deliver value to them, you network with them, you spend some time chatting, you've already established a much stronger relationship with them there than you would with any that on social media.
Yeah, you've established that link and that relationship, but you've actually just spent an hour or 45 minutes, however long, demonstrating expertise that you cannot, there is no other format where you can demonstrate expertise to a crowd of people all at the same time. And the moment you demonstrate expertise, it's the moment they go, I don't know if I'm signing up with you today, tomorrow, 6 months or 2 years' time, but you've proven to me you have the knowledge for me to sign up to you.
how many of the firms do you know that are running events, right? Like, it's different.
Yeah.
The majority of firms aren't doing it. So if you're out there and you're running events both for existing clients and prospective ones, you've already, got a differentiating factor to what you're doing, right? It stands out.
Yeah, like, I mean, my sessions were always educational rather than salesy. Like, there's a lot of firms out there, like the big boys, who are doing charity nights and racing nights and like their annual awards nights and stuff, and that's great. But I don't think it really gets you new clients. It gets you kudos.
Yeah.
You're not demonstrating your expertise there.
But education is the way to sell.
Yeah.
Right, like it's not about hard selling. You don't hard sell on social media.
No.
You build connections, you build relationships, you educate, you add value, and then when the time is right, you mentioned before we started recording that you have clients coming to you after a year.
Yeah.
That's because the time wasn't right for them at the event. The time is right now, and because you establish that level of credibility and value, they're going to come straight to you when the time is right for them.
So I like this idea, and it's something we've never done. I think there's a fear factor there in it, right? Like when we start, how long? Who should we market to? Little pro tips just to get that first one off the ground. I feel like once you've got the first one off the ground, you're going to learn, you're going to figure it out, and hopefully grow from that. And for me, I feel like that's the thing. It's just getting that first event.
Yeah, I mean, the way we approach events is really in 4 steps. So the very first step is really about figuring out what is the purpose of this event. So is it just for existing clients to add value, to offer additional services to them, or is it to gain new clients? Is it going to be an online or an offline event? Do you want to bring in additional speakers that can also add perspective and add value to your clients as well? So having a think around what are the goals that you're looking to achieve to start with, because that will really determine what kind of event you run. From there, the next 3 steps are basically pre-event, during the event, and post-event. So pre-event is all about how do we set the event up, how do we get the right ones on the scene. So when it comes to marketing the event, most firms don't have a prospect list that they can send an email to. They have a list of existing clients, but they don't have a list of prospects. So they might be thinking, great, well, how do we get people in the door? Think about things like referral incentives. So if you invite your existing clients, encourage each of those to bring at least one of their friends on. If you're bringing in external speakers, so let's say, for example, you have an introduced relationship or a partnership with somebody who deals with business insurance or any other complementary service, give them a speaking slot and encourage them to bring people from their network. So there's ways you can get people into the room without necessarily having to go down to marketing. So just thinking through some of these things. Then when it comes to actually running the event, you want to think about what the structure is like. What is the order of the day? Are you going to have a networking time? Are you offering food and drink? What are the sessions going to be? How are they going to be structured? Once you've got that all in place, it's really about figuring out what is the flow. Because actually, when it comes to turning prospective clients into clients, you need to have a follow-up process in place. Yes, people will get in touch with you, but equally, you need to have a process of getting in touch with them and saying, hey, thanks for attending. Would you like to have a conversation about how we can help you, or is there anything we said that might be of interest? So just thinking through these different 4 things is really going to help you to build a bit of a strategy around the event, instead of just going in and trying to run something really half-hearted.
Oh, okay, so we're at the Digital Accountancy Show, so we'd be amiss to now not ask what digital tools are out there that you would recommend to an accounting firm to look at for that first event? So I know there's like Eventbrite, there's MailChimp to get marketing lists together and stuff like that. You can send out surveys, but top tools that you would recommend that they look at and think how they're going to use it before they even start the event.
You're going to need something like Eventbrite that will help to manage the registrations and manage the tickets. It'll just do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of managing the attendees, without you needing to worry about it. So definitely Eventbrite. There's one or two similar ones. That's the one that I've used in the past. The good thing about it is as well that your event will then be listed on the local marketplace. That in itself can capture additional people to come along and register. We'll also want to have a think about a CRM system. So that could be a standalone email marketing tool like MailChimp, but you might want to consider something a little bit bigger, so maybe an active campaign where you can actually then track prospects, you can tag them to say they attended the event, it has a deal pipeline in there, so if they do book a discovery meeting or something, you can tag them as a prospect that came from that particular event. That will help you just to track the efforts and the results of marketing, not just events, but all marketing.
Brilliant. So CRM, Eventbrite to do the heavy lifting, because it can be a manual job doing all the tracking of the thing, and as you say, that marketplace is a huge benefit. I mean, I lived in a small rural village at the time when I did my last event. couple of years ago, Eventbrite actually brought in quite a few attendees when. So if it works in a small area, somewhere like London or Edinburgh or something, it's going to be fantastic. Is there any kind of hot topics that you would advise? Like, if you're going to look at events, these are some topics for events that we've seen work really well with our clients, etc.
It really depends on who your ideal clients are. So if you're a firm that specialises in e-commerce accounting, there's no point in talking about just the benefits of cloud accounting, right? You want to go super targeted about the benefits of using A2X or some certain inventory apps and how you can build this kind of robust e-commerce financial function and the benefit of all this technology and how it's going to make things better for them and get them better results. So the topics will really vary depending on who the clients are. So what I would say is figure out who you want to come to the event and then ask yourself what are their biggest problems and challenges that we can help them with. And that will help you to figure out what the right topic should be. Because you don't want to talk about random things.
No, that's great. Any questions you want to ask?
Yeah. Still on that topic, we're talking about trying to make it relevant, and that's going to be there. I think one of the problems we definitely have in the accounting world is sometimes we can make it a bit too dry, a little bit too tax update or anything else. Just, I know you're saying it depends on your type of client, but is there anything you've seen out there that's gone, you know what, that's quite a clever way of getting people interested? Or I think when you said before about buddying up with a different service provider, is there anyone out there you would say they're the sort of ones that really do drive interest? Or is it the accountant that you normally wants to complain about?
Yeah. I'm a marketer. The majority of questions people ask me, the answer is it depends. People hate that, but it's true. It depends. It really depends on your ideal clients and what you're looking to achieve. Depending on the business and their pains and their challenges, right? If you're targeting small businesses, most small businesses want to grow. So if you partnered with a marketing agency who can come in and run a digital marketing session on TikTok or SEO or Instagram, they're going to love it. If your ideal client are bigger corporations, £1 million plus, you're looking to bring in the MDs of those, they've probably already got somebody looking after marketing. If you bring in a digital marketing person to talk about that, are they going to be as interested? Perhaps not. Would they be interested in succession planning or acquisitions or additional sources of funding and finance to accelerate growth? Probably. So just thinking through, what do these people need and what are their pains and challenges, and just going back to the conversations you're having with your clients on a daily basis and revisiting those and saying, what are the answers you want about? And just going from there.
Right. And so what about swag? Do the clients that you're helping do events, do they do swag on those events? Do they do their own branded swag, or do they speak to QuickBooks and Xero and get a load of swag sent free of charge from them?
You can do both. Xero and QuickBooks are always quite happy to get in front of your clients. I'm sure if you ask them nicely, they'll be more than happy to send some bottles, t-shirts, cups, whatever, socks. But equally, having your own swag is also good. So it just creates a bit more of a brand community around what you do. And not a lot of accounting firms are doing that very well. There are some out there that do it really well. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I can't give a name.
Come on, you've got to give some
examples.
I'm
trying to think now.
Or even examples of swag, regardless of their name.
Oh, the swag doesn't need to be anything special, right? Just even like a decent bottle, like see a few around here. Things that people use on a daily basis so that you obviously can see the branding of the logo. Socks are another good one.
Yeah.
Just things like that. Keep it simple.
Cool. Okay.
So we've gone through swag, we've gone through articles like that. But what about location? I know you're going to say depends, and I know that's going to be one of the answers. But for accountants, right? Should we be trying to have something that's got a bit of a funky nightlife type event afterwards, or should we be trying to figure out?
You're going to hate the answer, guys. You know what's coming, right?
What, is there any tips that you've gone to events and gone, you know what, that is something we haven't thought about, that's something that actually more people should be doing. So any tips to what that location should be?
Yeah, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I know a firm in New Zealand, they were one of the first Xero firms in the world. It's a bold claim, I'm pretty sure they were in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Their ideal clients were contractors, subbies, people working in the trades. The way that they got people using Xero in the beginning is that they ran pint and pie nights at a local pub.
Brilliant.
So they hired a local pub, they put in a load of free beer, they put in a load of free pies, they got the subbies and tradies in there, they did a presentation on Zero, and they generated a load of clients. So it depends, because it depends on who your ideal clients are. Because pie and pint nights aren't going to land well with everyone, they're going to land really well with certain people.
Yeah. Yeah, and I suppose that then brings it on to format as well, doesn't it? Like, you've got to be careful, and again, it depends on your audience. You know, you don't want to do death by PowerPoint. You know, what kind of formats, regardless of the niche, would you recommend fireside chats? Would you recommend bringing in different experts regardless of the field? Do you recommend, or is actually PowerPoint presentation the right?
PowerPoint presentation is fine as long as the content is good and it's the right content, right? People don't want to be bored to death with a 30-slide presentation about how Zero works and the benefits of Zero. They want to understand it in their terms, right? Like, what is the benefit of Zero to me? How is it going to make my life better? What else can I do as a result of it? So this is usually an example of you talking about Zero to a prospective client. So I think presentations can work fine. If you bring experts in, a fireside chat or an interview is also a really nice format. It's refreshing, it's different. It's an opportunity to ask more engaging questions. So I would say mix it up, right? Your presentation as an accountant firm should be more educational, right? You're there to educate, be it for existing or prospective clients. But if you bring other people in on the day just to add a bit more content, fireside chats, roundtable discussions are also really good. Something I've seen work well, I haven't done it with any accounting firms, but I've seen it work well with accounting communities, is just hosting like hot seat sessions, where you get a group of 10 accountants around a table, and they just take it in turns to share their biggest challenges and other people who are in hot seating. If you're working with clients who all have similar challenges, similar sizes, similar industry, something like that is going to be invaluable, because I guarantee that I've never done anything like it before in their life. Most people aren't part of networks of similar businesses. And that's a real shame, because they could learn so much from each other. So if you've got 20 e-commerce businesses in a room sat around a table and said, what are your biggest challenges? They can all help each other out. You're not adding value directly, but they're getting value from something you facilitate.
Yeah, and I know when I've done sessions in the past, and I always, whenever I do anything quick or anything, I'm very clear on the structure that I want out of it, and that is, it's a 45-minute session. I want no more than 20-25 minutes going through PowerPoint videos, whatever we're talking about on topic. Then I want a really good amount of time to one side for Q&A, because like you said earlier, they need to understand it in their own terms, and the easiest way I find for that is to give them plenty of chances to Q&A session and ask their questions in their terminology, because you've probably already explained it in that 30-minute presentation, but because they've asked it in their terminology and you've answered it in that terminology or in their scenario, it all makes sense of it. So yeah, Q&A sessions hugely valuable. I think people kind of will put a 5-10 minute Q&A session at the end, so actually you're doing yourself a disservice here, you're doing the attendees.
That's where the most value is. It's in the questions and the follow-up, and even just allowing time for networking. So outside of the session itself, allowing time to go and speak to these people individually, ask them about their business, what they're up to, their challenges. That is hugely valuable.
Yeah, not just disappearing after you've done your session, but actually hanging around and taking questions from, whether they're your clients, your fans, your colleagues, whoever they are, taking questions on a one-to-one basis outside of the main event. Schedule that into your diary. Expect it to be adding 30-40 minutes at least to your day. So yeah, right, I'm conscious we are coming close to time.
So I feel like we're getting better as accountants to do that typical marketing. So if you think about your sales and marketing, we're starting to really see the value in that. I think people like yourself, like you teach me what you do. If we're going to go back to in-person events as opposed to online events, are sales funnels and all that, can we just apply the same logic, or do we have to think of it?
It's the same thing, right? Like, what's the logical next step after an event? It's the follow-up piece, it's the nurture piece. The thing with accounting is that most people think it's like lead generation. Generate 30 leads online and become clients tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. It's a relationship business. Most business owners aren't in market for a new accountant. Right? You can add value to them, you can educate them, they can see the value that you offer compared to their existing accountant. It doesn't mean they're going to convert today. They can convert in 3-6 months' time when the time is right for them. So it's really, really important to have that whole funnel mapped out. So something at the top that drives awareness, something in the middle that offers value and allows them to consider you as a suitable provider of that service, and something at the bottom that then nurtures and adds value over time. So how do you constantly stay in touch with these people so that they don't forget about you? Email marketing is a great way to do that. Sending out valuable email newsletters, being active on social media and connecting with them there is another great way to nurture them. Even just picking up the phone and calling prospects every couple of months and checking in with them. Say, hey, how's it going? You came to the event a few months ago, just want to see how everything's going in your business, and they might say, oh, it's all good, or they might say, funny you called, because my pro account just pissed me off, and I'm looking for news.
And that's all it takes, isn't it? That one bit of perfect timing, you've got a new client. It's fantastic. Yeah. Right, we are coming up to time. This is a very short episode. We've got a really busy day. Jordan, thank you so much for taking the time out of what is a mentally busy day for you. It's not only you helping to organise all of this, you're helping to run it all day, and then you've got a huge DJ set to run all night as well.
Yeah, and to plug I'm speaking on the How-To stage at 4:30 p.m. I'm going to be talking about how to use ChatGPT and 17 other AI tools to accelerate and automate your marketing function. So if anyone's listening that wants to get better at marketing and use AI to do that, How-To stage 4:30.
Great. AI is just... There's so much talk here about AI today, and I'm loving that. I'm so pleased that MTD isn't spoken about anymore. I'm so fed up of it. But now we're talking about AI. We're talking about VR and AR and all these terminology. It's exciting, and I think I would love to be sat here. You look around all the theatres. You've got all the everyone's got their headsets on, so they can hear clearly what the speakers are saying. I think that's brilliant. But next year we might all be sat here with our Apple Vision Pros, watching the world around us in AR, and
maybe you'll be sat in your bedroom and experience the digital accounting show virtually. Who knows? Hopefully not, because you miss out big time.
Oh yeah. Online events, they're all well and good, and Dan did a fantastic job during COVID with his summits and stuff. But there's just no replacing an in-person event, and we get such a kick out of them, don't we? And that's why we come to every single event every year, because we get a kick in this. Yes, some of the talks are the same from different events, but actually there's always so much diversity in every single conference. And I dread to think what you guys' jobs are like, to try and select what sessions we are and aren't going to deliver and have choice from.
It really is so hard.
Yeah, I don't know how much you can say. I won't say anything that you've told us already, but obviously anyone that's listening to this that's not attended today, next year, what are the plans that you're allowed to tell the public and the audience as of now? We'll go from there.
Trying to get me fired, guys.
No, just keep it within there.
No, it's been announced. Next year's 2 days, and it's going to be in April.
Wow, 2 days.
Same venue.
In here, fantastic. Yeah, that's incredible. 2 days in here in April.
And the content is going to be uniquely different for both days. So there's going to be no duplicate content running across both days. So both days are going to be completely unique content. Day 2 is going to be a continuation of day 1's content.
Fantastic. I'm already looking forward to it. Let us know the dates and we'll start booking hotels.
We're going to need even more lasers next time.
Ooh. And there is a lot of lasers down there. We've got quite a bit of footage, haven't we, already, of the event that will go on social media after this. But I've never seen so many lasers and so much smoke during the day at an event. It's incredible. Yeah. So, especially an accounting event. Maybe Glastonbury got that amount, but we certainly don't see that.
That's my favourite quote of the day. Everyone's compared this to
Coachella, we'll take that.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout.
Xerocon was the Glastonbury for accountants, but that's just Coachella for accountants.
Yeah, I think finally, if you want a successful event, have you got your DJ set? That's out to...
Yeah, so no event is complete without a good DJ, and I'm 1/3 of the DJ supergroup Accounting House Mafia. We've got a world tour happening for the rest of this year and early next year. Can't reveal the dates just yet, but if you're interested in finding out more, go to my LinkedIn and you'll find a link to our website.
That's why we have good friends, right? That's defined. We've now defined the whole show. Thank you very much. And that's it. So thank you so much for watching. Digital Accounting Show 2023 is already back. Thank you again, Jordan.
Thanks for having me, guys. Good to chat.
And we will see you all in the next one. Cheers, everyone.